Hey guys, and welcome back to another video here with Angel B Designs. If you are new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. What I'm going to do today is I am going to do an updated video of my how to sublimate on the 20-ounce skinny tumbler video. That is the most watched video on my channel as of today, me recording this video. And I still get a lot of views and a lot of questions about the entire process of me doing that video. That was probably maybe like the 5th video I had ever done on my channel. So there was a lot of information that I left out. So there was a lot of questions. And at this point, those comments on that video are just a little overwhelming for me. So what I decided to do was I just decided to do an updated video where I am answering every single question that I got pertaining to that video, pertaining to my method, and just literally everything from start to finish. So that's what we're doing today. Is we are going to be sublimating a 20-ounce skinny tumbler from start to finish. I am going to show you the program that I print from. I'm going to show you literally everything that I do to get my image to pop like that. Okay, my colors always come out vibrant. I know everybody has their opinions about the method you use to sublimate, but I do have my method. It works for me. I've never had any problems or issues or anything like that. So I'm gonna stick beside it. Okay, I'm gonna sit beside it. But I am gonna link down in the description box all of my products, where I got everything from, everything that I used, everything that you need to sublimate your own skinny 20-ounce tumbler for your first time will be linked in the description box below. So definitely make sure you check that out first. But if there is just so happens to be a question that I do not answer for you, please feel free to leave a comment and I will definitely try to get to it. So yes, we are going to go ahead and get into this today. So if you want to go ahead and learn, stick around. All right, guys, so I am going to go ahead and start off in Silhouette Studio here. In my previous 20-ounce skinny tumbler video that I did, which is the most popular video on my channel right now, in that video, I was also printing from Silhouette, and a lot of people were asking me, what are you printing from? What are you printing from? I print my bigger images from Silhouette Studio. In the original video, I did have the free version, but now I use the business edition for other reasons. But if you use a Cricut machine and you do not have a Silhouette cutting machine, so a Cameo, if you do not have a Cameo and you use Cricut Design Space, you know that you cannot print bigger when it comes to certain images. I'm not for sure if you can print a 20-ounce skinny tumbler design from Cricut Design Space, but I just always print my images. If they have straight lines that I can cut, I always just print my images from Silhouette Studio. And like I said, to use the free version, actually you don't have, for any version, you do not have to have a Cameo to use Silhouette Studio software. You don't have to have one at all. Now for the free version, I'm sorry, for the basic version, it's free. You don't have to even pay for it. So if you just want the Silhouette software to export SVGs, actually, no, I'm sorry, you cannot export SVGs. I don't believe in the free version. I do think that you have to have at least the basic paid version in order to export, but don't quote me on that. I do know that you can print from the free version for free without having a Cameo. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. However, I do have the business edition now, but like I said, the free version works as well. All you have to do is go to silhouettestudio.com and you would download the free version of Silhouette Studio. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in my file that I'm going to go ahead and get printed today. I'm going to use this one, which is, I did purchase this from Etsy. And this is going to be for so my 20-ounce skinny tumbler is a tiny bit tapered going towards the bottom. So it's not perfectly straight. It is a little bit tapered at the bottom. And this Etsy seller did provide me with the PNG file that was already tapered for the tumbler that I'll be using. Okay, so it is almost about the size. Typically the skinny ounce, I'm sorry, I keep saying the skinny ounce, the 20-ounce skinny tumblers typically when you print are 9.3 wide by 8.2 high. So I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust this a little bit just to make sure I have the right size. I actually like to do it a tad bigger just so I have a little bit of wiggle room. I prefer to cut off the edges if I need to, rather than, because most like the words here are not at the very top. If I need to cut off the edges a little bit, that's okay. All right. Now I am printing from the Sublimation. I did convert my Epson 8500. Yes, my Epson 8500 to a Sublimation printer, which is only an 8.5 by 11. So in order to get this to print, I do have to turn it on its side. And I gotta make sure it fits on the paper, and it does, just barely, but that's good enough. I'm gonna go up to File and Print. If you do not have your settings on your printer set to automatically mirror your image, then you are going to have to flip your image horizontally. But my printer is already set to automatically mirror my images because they are Sublimation. That is my Sublimation printer. All of my images from this printer automatically print mirrored. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this printed out, and I will meet you at my craft table so that we can go ahead and press it together. All right, guys, so I do have my image printed off here. I'm just going to grab some scissors so I can trim it. But it pretty much did just print across the whole paper because I am using an 8.5 by 11 printer. So I'm basically just going to trim the little excess white here. You know what? I have a little paper cutter that I feel like would be easier. I just don't know where I put it. I thought I was gonna grab it, but I don't know where I put it. So I'm just gonna trim this by hand basically. I'm just cutting the white off the edges. That's all I'm doing. Now, when it comes to wrapping tumblers, there is literally a dozen ways that people tend to do them. And to be perfectly honest, in my opinion, I feel like there really isn't like a wrong way to do it. I just feel like, you know, people have their preferences. I personally like the painter's tape method, which is what I will be doing today. Now, to achieve this with the painter's tape method, I am, like, full disclosure, you should go to Home Depot and you should get the good painter's tape. I use the Scotch Blue. Original painter's tape is the brand that I use. I don't know if you can see that, but it is Scotch Blue original painter's tape from Home Depot. Okay, the one from Dollar Tree does not work. It's too cheap. You do have to use good painter's tape. The one from Dollar Tree, it's too cheap of a brand. It leaves adhesive on your cup or it burns. Some people said it even caught on fire for them. I mean, I would say go to Home Depot, spend a couple extra bucks, get the good tape. Okay, so the way that I wrap my tumblers is I put the image down on the table. I put the tumbler on top of the image like this. And then I bring in my sides. Like this. And I just rip my image, but that's okay. Because the tumbler is for me, so I'm not really pressed. But yeah, I just bring the sides in like this. Now I know for me, I don't care about it overlapping. I just want to make sure that the words are not overlapping. And the design that I'm using, it's like cheetah print here and it's white here. So it's not an image that I have to like perfectly line up exactly. Okay, there's a little bit of room to overlap, which is fine. Then what I do is I take heat tape that I got from Amazon, and I will link all of my information down below as far as what I use. And you want to make sure that you have a good amount of pressure, and you want to make sure that you are wrapping your image nice and tight. And I'm just going to tape this all the way to the top, and then I'm going to fold it over. Okay, so now I have it, just this seam completely taped. I kind of take the tumbler in my hand and I roll it just to make sure I don't feel any gaps or looseness in it. If I don't, then what I move on, which is the top. What I like to do is, this is a little bit of an update. What I like to do is I like to slit it, the paper at the top. It makes it so that it lays down flatter, so I can get a more seamless application. And then what I do for the top, after I cut it, I take my painter's tape. I start at the seam. I take my painter's tape, I start at the seam, and I roll it all the way around, pulling it nice and tight. And then once I got it like that, I will go ahead and roll this down into the cup, making sure that I am pulling it tight. Some people like to use shrink wrap. I don't really care for the shrink wrap. To me, this works just fine. Okay. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for the bottom. I'm going to take a piece of my painter's tape. I'm going to slit it a little bit just so the paper lays flatter for me. Alright. And I'm going to start at the seam, and I'm going to roll it around. And then I'm going to go ahead and push it down, making sure it's all flat, making sure the tape lays flat, making sure the paper underneath is flat. I'm just making sure everything is nice and flat and tight. And then I take one more piece of painter's tape and I put it right on the seam. So 3 pieces of painter's tape: the seam, the top, and the bottom. All right, that is it. Okay, the seam, the top, and the bottom. And then again, I just kind of roll it in my hand to make sure I don't feel any air bubbles. Okay, and I don't. So we should be good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk about my convection oven, and I will link it down below. I did get it from Walmart. It's not on right now. but it is the Black & Decker. It's a Black & Decker. The door comes down. There is a rack in here that not a rack, but like 2 little bars in here that I cannot take out. So what I do with these tumblers is I put it in there seam up. I do this for a total of 6 minutes, okay? So I start in the middle with the seam facing up. I do 2 minutes. Then I come in and I roll it to this side, and I do it for 2 minutes. And then I roll it to this side, and I do it for 2 more minutes. And then that's it. That's all I do. I do not have a turbo feature on my convection oven, okay? So when people ask me, do I use turbo, not turbo, I don't even know what that is because I don't have turbo on this. This is the only convection oven I've ever had. I've never used any other one. This is the very first one I bought 2 years ago, and this is the same one I've always had, okay? So what I have here is I have the temperature, which for mine, my toaster oven gets extremely hot. So I don't put it on 400 degrees. What I put it on is about between 350 to 375 because it gets extremely hot. So I do not put it on 400 because I've tried to put it on 400 before and it burns my products every single time. So I typically hover it between 350 to 375, okay? I have a temperature, I have a toast, and I have a timer. That's all I have. Temperature, like I said, between 350 to 375. My toast is on 0. I am not toasting these tumblers, okay? So the toast is off. And then my timer, typically, I just have it on the stay on button, and then I unplug it when I'm not using it, okay? That's all that I have. Super, super simple. Like I said, I did get it from Walmart, but it is available on Amazon. I will link it down below for you guys. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this preheated. And then I will probably do like a sped up when me putting the tumbler in there and turning it and all of those things. Okay guys, so here's the tumbler. Let me go ahead and unplug this so it can start to cool off. But here's the tumbler here. Now, one way to kind of like be able to tell if your design took is if you can see it through the paper when you take it out. So do you see how you can see my design through the white paper? That lets me know that the ink adhered to the cup nicely, and I can see it on this side as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just let this kind of cool off for a couple of minutes. I want to make sure that the ink is nice and adhered to the cup, and any remaining heat, if there's any remaining ink or anything like that, it's going to go ahead and adhere to my cup while we're waiting for it to cool down. You want to, in my opinion, you want to make sure you let it cool down a little bit before you take the tape off, just for that reason alone. But I'm going to wait a couple minutes and then I'll come back and we'll take the tape off. Alright guys, so my tumbler is pretty cooled off. So we're going to go ahead and start to peel all of the tape off and we're going to see what happens. And I just want to reiterate, in case you were kind of skipping through the video, I am using the Scotch Blue Original Painter's Tape from Home Depot. When it comes to the painter's tape, you do not want to skimp out and go with Dollar Tree just because the Dollar Tree is not as good of a quality. So you may get some burning with it, some adhesive issues, I just noticed that when people have done this method and they try to use the painter's tape from Dollar Tree, they have nothing but issues that I have never had. And I only use the painter's tape from Home Depot. All right, let's see what we got. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here is our tumbler. I'm trying to get it all in camera so you can see it where it's not glaring. Let me see, which side is the seam. So this side, this black line right here is the seam, and then that's the other side of the design, but this is the seam. Do y'all see that? Now I do have a small light spot right up here at the top, but the seam looks flawless. Okay, do y'all see that? This is the method that I have been using and I will keep using because I never have any problems when I do this method. I know everybody's got their opinions. Everybody's got, again, here's a close-up of the seam. I just have, if you can see right here where the cheetah print design is, it's a tad light right here. That's the only imperfection we have here. Beautiful, vibrant, gorgeous. Okay, so this is, again, this is my method. This is the method I've always used. This is the method I've been using for 2 years. I'm not going to change it. I know everybody has their opinions, but this is what I do, and I just wanted to kind of update my 20-ounce Skinny Tumbler video just because that is the most popular video on the channel. That's where I get a lot of my subscribers from. So I have updated my method, not too much. Actually, I don't think I updated my method at all. I just wanted to be more descriptive, so, because I get a lot of questions. What software are you printing from? Where'd you get your painter's tape? You know, all those things. So I just wanted to kind of put out an updated, kind of more descriptive video answering all of those questions for you guys. But yes, this is my method. Has been my method for 2 years and will be my method from now on. I'm not changing it because my result is always so gorgeous. All right, well, that is all I have for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you get notified every time I upload. I do have a Facebook group as well. Follow me on social media. Everything will be linked down below. Please don't forget to check the description box. Until next time, guys, bye.